Hey, wake up over there.
Is that what the music is? It's like...
Yeah, what were you playing with?
Making some money.
We don't know. Welcome to another episode of the one and only Out of the Blind. My name is Gabe Spencer. Here we are today. Again, we have Brian Schwint. He's actually one of the guys that work here at Accurate Roof Systems here in Tyler, Texas. You know, he's got a really good personality, and I'd always like to have him on here because we are always constantly talking about just random. It's just random. We just talk about random stuff. What?
We can go through wormholes.
Oh, it's insane. The wormholes that we go down, and I'm like, Nick, our production manager, he's always like, don't talk about it. Wait, save it for the podcast. And that's what we always do. And so even just setting it up, he's like, stop.
Yeah.
Wait a second. What were you playing with over there?
I was making some money. And
doing what in your crotch?
I mean, dude, don't worry about it. If you see me on OnlyFans, just click on pass. Don't stop and laugh.
Oh, I'm going to stop and laugh.
Well, the laughs are okay as long as you're donating. I mean,
what is your going rate?
What is my going rate? It's about
mine's $10.
10. Jesus,
it's $10.
Like a cheap hooker.
I mean, my going rate's $10. I don't know if that's cheap or expensive, but
I'm like,
depends on the time. I mean, it depends on what we're doing. It depends on time of year. Depends on financial hardships.
Well, I mean, no matter where I'm at, there's always a financial hardship in my mind. So, like, my going rate for a still picture of the old wolf nipples, it's like $25.
I don't even know where to go with that. You send pictures of those out?
I mean, I'm not above it. $25.
Oh, you're above them.
I'm above them. My head's above them. But, I mean, $25 is $25. And you would be surprised at the women out there that would love the dad bod.
I know, but did you come up with did you dub them the wolf nipple?
I think a buddy of mine back in the oil field did.
So he saw him and was like,
oh, yeah.
Dude, yeah. That's some like wolf pup nipples.
Yeah. No, they're just straight wolf nipples. Like a mama wolf that's been bred 4 or 5 times and had about 4 or 5 litters. Like they might be dragged down a little bit. Hang downs.
But wild.
That's another story for another day, what we talk about hang down around my house.
Oh, yeah. We got into a wormhole the other day about, I don't even think that's rated for this.
No, we got to stay away from that because that's
it was awkward for me.
It does get that way at the war room every now and then. It's
awkward, so I'm going to get in trouble for moving this mic around because Nick will yell at me. He's so aggressive. He is kind of aggressive.
In a passive way. Like, he does it without you know until 5 minutes later, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, crap.
Don't touch the phone cord.
I just got
Don't touch the cord.
Yeah, it's mean.
What are you doing? Just you can talk into the mic, and that's it.
That's it. Don't put your lips on.
Don't touch his drum set.
It's going to be funny one of these days. Somebody's going to be up here, and they're going to be like, wanting to put their mouth on it. Like, no.
Do what?
You know somebody's going to want to touch their lips to this one of these days.
Do it again?
No. That's a one-off.
That was wild. I got hot-faced when you did that.
Did you? It doesn't take much for you.
Like, I was like, yeah, I think he really just tried to wrap his lips around the microphone. Anyway, we're not even 5 minutes deep into this sucker. So tell me what's been going on. What's you've been here at the office. He's our project manager here at Accurate Roof Systems. That's my full-time job. But tell me, I mean, things been going good?
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. We got salesmen out beating down doors, trying to bring in business.
Right.
My job's pretty much to wrangle the homeowner, if you want to say, and keep them at peace and
make sure they're taken care of.
Make sure they're
getting everything they need. Yeah, I mean, it's a full-time gig. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it than meets the eye. As I was a salesman, I looked at the project director like, all he does is just order the materials and set the crews up. Not the case.
Right.
Not the case.
A little more than that.
Yes.
A little more than that.
You have homeowners calling, wanting something, and as law dictates to us, we can't do certain things. So
right.
We have to explain that to them. They don't understand it. And that's fine. It's just part of the MO. It's what we do.
Hey. It's definitely a roller coaster ride around this place. We've got we do the roofing full time. I've been at it almost 13 years. You know, and then in the mix of now we got Kimber Creek Media that's firing up. That's the one that's really doing this podcast, putting this together for us. We've got Nick. He's in the background here and always and keeping things going. But he's the one that does all of our social media stuff here at Accurate.
Right.
He's the one that keeps everything rolling, keeps us on the social media platforms and
keeps us going out to the world.
Right.
The great state of Texas.
You know, and I think that it's kind of neat now that, you know, people like me and you can do stuff like this and you know, share the wolf nipples to the rest of the world. I mean
now
before
everybody's going to Google it now.
Who knows what we've been missing out on?
There's a lot. And I mean, myself and I know you and some of the other guys, we're podcast guys anyhow, not just in this aspect.
Oh, I like listening to podcasts. Like when I travel, especially duck hunting.
Yeah.
Or fishing or whatever, we get on and you know, we listen to a little Theo Vaughn. We listen to who else? I listen to some Joe Rogan. I listen to some. There's a handful.
I'm a big Joe Rogan and the Barstool Sports guy.
And those guys, like they're not really friends. Like it's called something. I just started watching that one.
I don't know that.
I don't remember. It's these two guys, like this Asian guy and this other guy. That one's a really good one.
They're not really friends.
Well, they're kind of like friends, but they kind of roast each other the whole time. It's like I think they're friends, but then it could go and like you're like, I think that guy really hates that guy.
They might.
But it makes for good listening, you know.
Oh yeah, and you learn a lot, or you get to hear other people's opinions outside your own little small world at times, and that's the funny part for me is to figure out what goes through other people's minds.
Oh yeah,
and especially in our industry because what we do, we're dealing with people's minds, you know, at some point.
Oh, we're dealing with the roofs.
We're dealing with the roofs, but we have to kind of have an understanding of what's going through their mind as we're dealing with
it. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
We never know. You know, we always try to make sure to do the right thing and still hack them off.
You know, I've had some of my salesmen tell me they've been chased off yards with guns. It's like, what's going on?
Never happened to me. I've been a door-to-door salesman my majority of my life, and you never know what you're going to see knocking doors.
Never.
Did you encounter anything strange? I mean, in your short time, I mean, you're just knocking for a couple months, but did you come up with anything fun?
I didn't really. Just mainly the hardest things I come up against were just grumpy old people.
Oh yeah.
You know, other than that, no. I've heard pretty good stories about what people have encountered.
Oh man, I mean, I used to.
You know,
I would see everything out there. I mean, just name it. I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've caught people doing things they probably shouldn't be doing. I've seen people doing things they shouldn't be doing. I've seen people doing things they should be doing, which is sometimes more impressive
than what they shouldn't be doing.
Right. It's just, you know, you knock on somebody's house middle of the day or even the evening.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're going to answer the door like. I mean, so you kind of get it on it. That's what kind of keeps it entertaining for me.
Yeah.
And that's what really hones someone's people skills, I think. I think the door-to-door salesman is kind of overlooked, or if they're looked on, they're looked down upon. And I don't think that's right.
We get a very bad rap in the world, I believe, because
just another, damn door-to-door salesman.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately it rolls over into what we do. But door-to-door salesmen in general, like your background and stuff, I think they get a bad rap, and they're trying to get an honest living.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think sales is always it's always one of those good things to be part of. Let me think here. So what would you do if I want to run a scenario or a scenario. I'm not sure which way
scenario. We're from East Texas, so I'm pretty sure it's scenario.
I've heard it called a scenario once, and that kind of stuck with. Like this other person, I heard this name Megan one time.
Megan.
But her actual name was Megan. I don't remember the person's name or face, but they corrected him like, "Oh, hey Megan," and she was like, "It's Megan," and I was like,
"Yeah,
oh,
it's Megan."
Megan, like, is that with two E's? So anyway, she was definitely offended, and I don't know why. I mean, whose name is Megan? I hope there's not a Megan out there. Listen to this. I apologize ahead of time. But I just don't understand Megan.
Like her? I don't know. I had to ask that question.
I didn't get to meet them.
Did your mom and dad like you?
I didn't get to meet him. But I was watching. Have you ever watched that show Naked and Afraid?
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch it yesterday?
No, I didn't.
They have a new one out. So it's got these two. I think they're not from Australia. What's the place? It's a big island next to it.
New Zealand?
I think so. Is that the? Yeah.
Yeah.
They sound like the same, but they don't like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. These two chicks were from New Zealand. They're twins, and they were on Naked Afraid, but they got put onto an island with a midget.
Oh no midgets. And I'd tap out the minute I walked up.
So he was a tall guy. Like, he was taller. And immediately when I was flipping through the channels and I saw it, I was like, oh, I've seen this, you know. And then they brought people back on that they've had that's been on there before, right? And so they stuck them on this island. And when they stuck them on the island, it was like a shark infested island. Well, not the island, but the water around it.
Right.
Because sharks can't, of course, go on land.
They can't walk. If they can, it's
messed up.
And our world's coming to an end. Like,
I don't know about that. I think there's some sharks that I really like to eat, and I would think it would be more fair game because I could shoot them with a 300.
I'm pretty sure I'd eat any shark.
I don't know. There's a couple of them I wouldn't. Black tip are real good if you grill them.
Black tip are real good.
If any of you guys out there are fishermen and you guys catch these black tip shark, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I'll give you the recipe for shark tacos. It's insane. But anyway, back to my story. So you had this dwarf. He said in there, I'm going to kind of, I think he said he had a hint of dwarfism.
No, it's like,
but they got this guy in the, here's where it got funny. And I shouldn't have laughed. I shouldn't have, but it made me chuckle. This was last night and I'm just flipped to the channel. And so they made these sticks, right? Out of wood. They have a knife. And so they called them shark poking sticks. I don't know. This, guy with dwarfism, I'm not calling him a dwarf because that's what he said. He just had a hint of it. That's exactly what he said.
A hint. I bet he had snuggles.
He might have had snuggles. But he had a pole, and they were starving. These guys, these two chicks, and it was this guy, the guy with the hint of dwarfism, and this other guy. I'm going to say hint of dwarfism because that's what he said, and I think that makes it okay. And I could be wrong.
I mean, we'll go with.
I could get hate mail, and so they had to get in the water to get food because they were going to hunt some fish. Right. But the place was smoked with a lot of sharks. Oh. And it was lemon sharks, and they were saying these lemon sharks lay on the bottom. Right. And because they're one of the few sharks that can sit still, and they wait for sometimes their prey to come through, which was the guy with a hint of dwarfism. And it showed some underwater pictures of him on his piggies, and he's poking the sharks away. And I could not help but laugh. It made me laugh. And I thought of you, and I've been waiting to tell you about this.
Oh, Lord, you thought of me.
Because what if you were on Naked and Afraid, and it was the two chicks from New Zealand, another man, or you as the other man, and then the guy with hint of dwarfism? Oh. Because I think you're deathly afraid of them.
I'm definitely afraid of midgets. I don't
know the difference. I don't know the classification. I don't know. I don't want to be offensive, especially this day and age.
Right. So I'm not even going to go into why.
Because this is episode 3, and we could get cut from here on out.
Yeah. So, but if they're under, I'm just not going to go into it. I have a deep, deep fear of midgets, dwarfs. I don't know why.
Shorter than 5 or 4'9".
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shorter than 4'9", you're good.
I think I can handle 4'9".
But 4'8", that's a deal breaker.
Right, 4'8", I'm pretty much out.
Or they have schnuckles.
And they do the little. Mm-hmm. So have you ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Wizard of Oz, the little Oompa Loompa, how they walk?
Yeah.
Dude, one comes walking at me like that, I'm out.
You're running.
Yeah, I'm not going to run because I'm 6'3" and I can walk faster than they can.
What if they're scared of you as much as you're scared of them?
And that's fine. They can be. And it's not going to offend me, at all. They can be. And we'll have a mutual fear of each other. And
if you ran across this guy, he would have a poking stick, and it was forked and sharp at the end. And you could tell he made it himself.
Yeah, and like
it was fashioned,
be able to outrun,
homemade.
He might be able to outrun me in poke me in the ass or like he was doing the sharks. I don't know.
He poked one shark, and
But
the
it
shark kept coming. Like, shark's like, oh, hell no.
Because he's snack size.
But what's funny is they
that's
had the
one
underwater
bite.
camera, and it has this big guy. He's probably your size, and then they have Schnuckles there, and he is on his tiptoes, and he's scared to death. I can tell.
Water's beating him in the chin, and it's only at the other dude's waist. I mean,
It was
poor dude didn't stand a chance.
It was
That's what
one
they
of
were
the
doing.
funniest things I've ever seen on TV.
What the other three were hoping for, and I'm gonna have to look this one
I'm
up.
gonna cry. So
What
funny.
the other three were hoping for is so they were gonna go. The sharks were gonna go for the hen of dwarfism dude, and while they were feeding on him because he's snack size, like it's not really a threat.
The other guy was a shareable,
he
was a
shareable.
snack size.
Right. Well, shareable over here was fixing to smoke one of them lemon sharks down while homeboy was getting eat. That would
So he was the little guy was the chum.
Oh yeah. Because deep down, I'm pretty sure they had a slight fear.
That's horrible. You know what I mean? Like if they're,
But if you dive into it, there's probably something there.
I don't know.
I mean, and the good person in me, if I did get on Naked Afraid,
I would love to go on Naked and Afraid.
first off, they probably wouldn't air my episode because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to see all this naked.
Well, they block it out, and that's the thing. Like at first I was kind of concerned with that, but because I would love to go on Naked and Afraid, I think I would be the only one that would go on Naked and Afraid and gain weight.
Oh yeah, like my hunter
Because I eat it all.
Yeah, nothing's now.
I watched the show and I'm like, how are these people starving?
I'm probably
look
not
at the
going to
food
eat
right
a
there. What about-
slug, but
why?
I'm going to figure out how to make a weapon and like I'm going to eat some meat.
Especially the ones that have water around them.
Oh yeah, let me have water or
And then what really warps my mind on Naked and Afraid is they show the people, oh, look at them, they're starving. And then they show this snake slithering. Why don't you eat that some?
Yeah.
Right there.
why are you such?
Or they show a tarantula
Yeah, I mean,
or a triantula.
try.
Why don't we eat that?
We're going to try it. You might have to
Put
eat
him on a
banana-
stick. Apparently you know how to make fire.
Wrap him in a banana leaf. It's going to moisten him up.
Dude, that might be a new delicacy.
Might be.
You might get that at freaking, what's that place called? McAllister's.
They do. Hey, if
McAllister's
it takes
had
off,
that.
Fresh will probably sell it because they sell everything.
Yeah, banana wrapped. Is not banana leaf. It'd
It'd
be
be banana leaf wrap tarantula.
triantula.
There's
3 of them.
There's 3 of them. And I mean, might be the going thing. The right season kind of makes you wonder what it tastes like.
When you were in the oil field, did you ever encounter the tarantulas?
I did out in West Texas. When it starts cooling off and going into the fall.
Did they freak you out?
No, spiders really don't bother me. Now the snakes, yeah, snakes and midgets kind of my thing.
I get it.
I'm gonna run from both of them. But out there, so when it starts cooling down in the fall and in the desert, which is kind of where the West Texas oil fields are, you're out in the middle of nowhere, like no civilization for 50, 60 miles from you. So all the oil field equipment creates heat, obviously. And at night, the tarantulas come to the heat. The snakes come to the heat, So I climbed out of a piece of equipment one night and was walking across location. You just have to kick through the tarantulas.
Did you ever have illegals come to the heat?
Not in West Texas. When I was a manager for a chemical company down in South Texas, we encountered quite a few. West Texas, that's a pretty harsh environment. Not saying there's not illegals there, but
Right.
from the stretch of where you work to the border, that's about 150, maybe 200 miles in some spots.
Did Trump build any walls over there?
I haven't seen any, which I haven't been down to the border. So, but in West Texas, no.
I would like to see that before they. Hopefully, no one tears that down.
I know in the El Paso area, there's always been walls between them and
Oh, really?
Juarez. Yeah.
I think that's a rough area. We've done some roofing out in.
Actually, El Paso's
El
safer
Paso.
than what once think.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like just the name sounds ominous.
Well, it means the pass. That's what El Paso means. The pass.
Kind of fitting.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it.
I don't speak a lot of
I don't speak a lot.
Spanish.
I understand a little, and
Right.
I understand better than I speak. My wife says it's because I'm scared to speak it, and I'm afraid.
We
to
had
listen.
before we were getting fired off. What did you call? There was a Mexican word you bleated out, and then Nick, the mean production manager, he said, "Shut the f up,
Yeah.
you dumb effing you know what's." save it for the effing podcast.
So we were talking about music.
And I was like, whoa,
And
that was a lot.
my wife and her family listen to Norteño music.
Norteño. Is that
Norteño is north.
Like that?
No, Norteño's more, it's accordion, not as many horns, bass. You know, it's the equivalent to the Mexican country music. It's pretty good stuff.
Norteño.
Norteño
is Mexican or Spanish for or country music.
No, Norteño is Spanish for northern.
Northern, which would mean closer to Tejas.
Closer to Tejas.
Right, which means country music.
Country music.
So we can probably mutually agree that Norteño in Spanish means
country music.
Country music.
I mean, yeah, you can relate.
So you can see how I got there from there.
Yeah. You got to go from A to
I went to Z,
F.
back to
Z and then back to A. Yeah.
I think I hit some points between there.
And you'll hear it every now and then on my playlist when I'm on the
Norteño?
beats. Yeah, I listen to it.
You might have to tag me in some of that. I want to try it.
It's pretty good stuff. It's a sad, happy music. Like,
do you know what they're saying?
Yeah, on a lot of it I do.
Do they play that in do they play that around Tyler?
Oh yeah. They have big bands come to out on 271 North.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. I went to let me tell you a little so that's like going towards like Gladewater.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, I'm used to be really big into Halloween. Yeah. I actually still am. I really love Halloween. Like I would start my Halloween costumes in July. All right. And so I would put a lot of money and time in these Halloween costumes. I dress up like all kinds of crazy stuff. I spend a lot of money on them. Well, and this is probably a fact you don't know about me. I mean, because you're looking at me like I'm kind of crazy right now. All right, so I have a pretty badass costume at this point. And I have been making my rounds to, it's Halloween season, so I'm making my rounds to these costume contests, and I win them. All right, and I can make a pretty good little chunk of bank. You know what I mean? A couple $100 here. iPod over here. When iPods were around, I was winning those. I won a bottle of cheap wine once. That was a bonus.
That is a bonus.
And so this year I was addicted to the win because I had been getting the W 3 times in a row, and I was like, I'm going to get one more. And it was one of those weird weekends where the Halloween contest kind of fell to a different part where it was like a Saturday, but Halloween was like really on a Thursday, and they had all the costume contests on a Friday. And I was like, I'm searching. I'm looking on the internet for like another costume contest. And the one that I found was on 271 in the north end of town and it was the Mexican club.
Yeah, the Far West. Or that's what it used to be.
I am not Mexican.
No.
Okay?
Yeah, me neither.
One of these things is not like the other one. But it's okay, right? I'm in full costume. Who's going to see?
Yeah.
Okay? I thought it was cool. I go in by myself. All right? No one knows that I'm not Hispanic.
Right.
Right? I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just here to get my win. I don't know what the Hispanic community is giving away, but I thought that I could win it. So I go in my costume. I got a bad boy costume, right? I had the SFX company had this. I got a mask from them, and it's full silicone. So however I move my face, it moves its face, and like it's legit. I'm like 9 feet tall. I mean, it's awesome. So I go in. Well, contest time starts. All right. And they're playing. I don't know what the music's called. Maybe it was that Norwegian. What'd you call it?
Norteño,
not Norwegian. So I
how do you go Norwegian from Norteño?
I can't remember. I knew it started with an N. And so there's like maybe 20 people that have a costume on.
Right.
Or that wanted to enter. And so we have to line up. Right. And they're saying everything in Spanish.
Right.
And they're like, oh, and the crowd's picking. And so they rattle some stuff on. They're like, hey, this guy. And the crowd goes crazy. And then they're like, what about this one? Like, oh. And then there's this chick in like a fire girl's outfit, with the hanging out. Of course, everybody likes that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one I'm standing next to. Right. So they go to mine and it's a little quieter. And then, so they're kind of weeding us out. Well, they weed it down to like the top, let's say it's 8 or 7, right?
Okay.
And then they make us do this dance, and I'm in this costume, and it's like a, what do they call that? The train or something, where you like, and they like, and everything's in
Conga
Spanish.
line?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know what it's called, but we're like going around. I'm like, this is not good.
It's not.
I mean, it's the like, they still don't know that I'm not Hispanic.
Right.
But now they see my dance skill. It's not Hispanic. One of these things is not like the other one. What's the big monster man? Something's under there.
Right.
Right?
Right.
We don't know. So then it gets worse. It gets down to the top 3 and I'm in it.
Oh.
Right? Now they're talking in Spanish and they're putting the microphone to me. And I don't say a word because if they hear my voice,
you're done.
that's it. It's a riot. I thought I was going to die.
Oh no, they're not mean.
But I didn't know. I felt like I was a fraud because I was in a Hispanic place and I was not Hispanic and I shouldn't be there. And I felt like I was doing something wrong. Right. But thank the good Lord above that I didn't win because the fire chick won.
Yeah.
Because she could twerk.
Now I've heard and I could twerk.
Well, I could. I have been known to make
clap.
I have been known to make my ass clap.
That's what I've been told.
But I only save that for certain occasions.
If you would have made your ass clap that night, you would have probably, and they'd have never.
Well, it was hard because I was on stilts.
Oh, you can
and so
walk
the
on
ass to leg proportion
was kind of off.
You couldn't
get the rhythm down.
It was way off. You can't get low.
You can't get low.
No, when that part of the song comes on, we're like, get low. You can't get low enough. And when you can't get low enough, and you're on stilts, and you're trying to make it do that.
Yeah,
they're gonna know it's up.
Yep.
Know what I'm saying?
They're gonna figure it out.
So that's kind of one of my deals. But I used to travel around, and I used to do those Halloween costume contests, and I had a good time doing it. I kind of hung it up. I would still like to do it. I still have my mask in my closet every morning, and I see it, and
you smile.
I do. It makes me smile, and it's one of those things like, well, I'm probably gonna do come Halloween. I'm probably gonna be on the podcast in a costume. And they're going to be like, what in the crap crystal meth is going on?
Yeah. What in the Mexican American?
Yes. So anyway, I mean, did you ever have any hobbies?
Not really. My big thing is I love football. I'm a football freak.
So that's what everybody likes.
And probably not to the point.
That's kind of generic, though.
Not to.
I'm not trying to knock your hobby, but.
Well, I mean, I like to hunt, and I like to hunt. I'm not a big like bass fisherman or anything like that.
About little bass. You catch them? Because not everybody likes to catch big bass.
I'm not a bass fisherman at all.
Not at all.
No.
Catfish, crappie?
Catfish, crappie. Like to go.
Yes.
I've been to Alaska and.
Oh, you told me about that.
Fish for salmon. That was probably a bucket list item that I didn't know.
I haven't done that. That's one of those trips I like to make. I have a friend of mine that just went up there. His name's Cody Duffer. He went up there and he just got back from Alaska, and he sent me some pictures of this giant monster halibut that they caught, and some bunch of salmon. He was catching on a fly rod. I mean, it looks awesome up there.
And see, I didn't fly fish. The guy that we went with was fly fishing, but man, it's just when the red salmon are running or the pink salmon, the ones that
are they different?
Yeah, they all have a different profile. I was catching silver.
Oh, yeah.
But you kind of catch anything that's swimming in the river at that point because they're migrating back up to die.
Oh, I got you.
And they come every other year to do that. They come up, breed, and then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
And I call them pink salmon because they start turning pink when they start dying.
Is that technical name?
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. Or I guess it's technical for me because I don't live there and I don't know. So I'm gonna go with technical. But it's kind of weird to see a zombie fish is what I'm going to call it because there'll be like skin falling off of it. And
that's wild.
And you catch one, you pull it up to the boat, and you catch 15-pound fish that's dying.
Rotting away.
Just rotting away. And what they do is swim up, and that's what the bears eat. And, it's easy feeding for the bears. But the silver salmon, man.
Did you ever encounter any bears up there?
So we flew.
They give me the heebie-jeebies, dude. Like
we flew into Anchorage. We were actually up there to work. The guy I went up there with had worked on the North Slope before he worked for the company I was with, and had a buddy in Kenai. And we were working down in Nikiski, which is on the southern end of Alaska, and just south of Kenai. we had to drive around the sound to Kenai, which is about a 3-hour ride. So max speed limit up there is like 55 because a moose will walk out in front of you and he does not care. Like,
and they'll win.
They will kill you. And I mean, that's all there is to
it. Just because you hit them?
Yeah. You hit a moose?
They're a big critter.
You're probably going to die.
I'd like to kill a moose.
I would love to kill a moose with a gun or a bow. I mean, either
bow's sketchy.
But
I'd shoot that sucker with that 300 Win Mag.
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat. Quick. I think that'd be great. That's another bucket list item.
We'll have to make that happen.
So we drove around the peninsula and drove down to Kenai, and the day we checked into the hotel in Kenai, they had a grizzly bear that had actually swam from Kodiak Island.
Oh, hell no.
That's
a long swim.
It's not as long as one would think. You can kind of see it from where you're at.
6 miles?
I'd say probably 6, 7 miles, something like that.
That's far.
Yeah, but I mean,
I tried to swim after a pool noodle that took off at Lake Buchanan this last weekend, and I thought I could get it. I almost died there.
Yeah, for like 100 yards.
It wasn't even that far. It was like, I don't know. It wasn't very far. I was like, oh, let me go get that pool noodle. And I tried to swim after it. I was like, this is how people die.
This is how it ends. It's over with.
What happened to Gabe? Oh, yeah, he died chasing a pool noodle. That's about
That'd look good on your grave.
That would happen. Yeah. They're just going to put a silhouette of a pool noodle on there. Or a pool noodle. No, my friends, they'll just put pool noodles there for me.
Oh, yeah. I would definitely bring pool noodle.
Jackasses.
I mean, I love you to death, but I would bring.
So he swam.
He swam. And
I didn't get sidetracked there, sorry.
he swam to the mainland. And up there, since it's so cold in the winter, there's so much snow, they don't have, all their utilities are underground, right? So
ours are too.
Yeah. Here, but I mean, in a lot of places, we still have high lines and
so even the wires are
underground, and then they come up every so often in the junction boxes like you see in the neighborhood.
Really?
So this grizzly bear, I guess he was freaking starving from his swim or whatever, and they're curious.
Swimming does make you hungry. Remember when you're a kid?
They're like an overgrown raccoon.
They are. Bears are.
That's exactly what they are.
They move like a raccoon.
They move like a raccoon, and their mindset in a lot of ways, if you research them, is the same as a raccoon. It finds junk, it eats it, you feed it, it's going to come back. So I guess in his curiosity, he knocked the cover off of one of the junction boxes, one of the big lines that come out and junctions in. He bit into it and fried himself.
Yeah.
On the side of the road.
Yes.
It was that's the only bear I encountered. I got to see
You saw him dead?
Yeah. I saw him dead. I mean,
big.
He was to the point of cremation.
Damn.
But he was dead.
Well, hell yeah. If he was point to cremation, I bet that sucker was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many bolts run through those lines.
All of them.
And he got every one of them.
To the mouth.
To the mouth. And he just ended it.
Wow.
And he might have been depressed. You can't ever tell.
Whatever
made him swim from Kodiak Island might have been enough for him to just be like, to hell with it. I'm going to knock this over. I know what's going to happen.
Man, that's a crazy way to go. All that big swim, and then you just go over and get shocked in the mouth.
Yeah. He could have eaten a kid.
Could have.
Could have eaten, because there's walking trails everywhere up there. So if anybody's never been to Alaska, that's the outdoorsman's.
See, I need to go there.
It's outdoorsman's heaven. It's so beautiful, and there's so much to do. You don't want to be inside.
Huh.
Or I didn't. I mean, it's cool. So the salmon fishing, yeah, I loved it. I like going red fishing. Since I've met you and the guys here, the fly fishing for redfish in the Gulf.
Oh man, you were going to throw you in a truck. We took Nick down there. He did some filming. He caught his first fish on a fly rod. We got Cortland. He's always down there. He's got an awesome boat that we can actually pull around them flats with.
Right.
And we just need to get you on there. We need to take you out in the front yard here at the office and
practice it.
Yeah. Practice before you go. If I can tell anybody out there that's thinking about fly fishing, please go take a lesson and practice before you go. It'll save you tons of time, money, energy, and frustration. So
it's not hard for me to get frustrated. I get pissed off at a bait caster.
Oh yeah, well, it's a little different.
So
it's a little different.
That's probably why I don't bass fish as much, because about 4 or 5 backlashes in,
you're done.
I'm over.
That's like Mason. He was on here. He was talking about he makes 5 casts, he doesn't catch anything. He goes back to drinking Bush.
And I mean that's
Bavarian
Bush lattes.
Yeah, he loves them. He said he doesn't get sick on them. Well, there's no alcohol, I don't think.
No, there's alcohol. I'm pretty sure you drink enough of anything, you're gonna get sick.
Probably.
So what he's secretly saying is he found his limit somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if he has found it. He drinks a lot of them. But we got on the beer mosa, the bromosas he called them.
Bromosa.
Yep. And so we're gonna be experimenting with those.
I mean, that really sounds amazing.
It's blue. Was it Blue Moon? He said
Blue Moon.
Blue Moon.
Bourbon.
Vodka and orange juice.
And oranges. That sounds like a great drink.
Oh yeah, I had one up in South Dakota that was just a beer mosa, and I think I talked about these before. And those were, oh my gosh, they're like
beer and orange juice.
Yeah, it was just Coors Light and orange juice, like half on half, and it was the bomb.
That sounds like the breakfast drink.
It was a breakfast. We had it. I mean, I'm not afraid to drink, because at first when I started doing that, I was like, man, you can't. It's before noon. You can't drink that early. But when you've been up since 11 p.m.,
it's not early.
No, it's like your afternoon. So it makes it, in my mind, it made it legit.
It's okay. I mean, I worked nights for a long time, so
yeah. It is what it is.
6:30 in the morning. That's a great time to drink a beer.
Right. It depends on when you got up.
But I mean, even if that sounds like one of those drinks, like how the bodybuilders and everybody drink protein right out of bed. For us kind of guys that are outdoorsmen, contractors, and kind of our lifestyle, that sounds like that could be a pretty interesting breakfast drink.
Oh, I had it with
a beer and Coors Light.
What was I had that with up there? I had it with what is that called? That breakfast? Man, I can't believe I forgot. It's got the eggs Benedict.
Oh, so yeah, that would go great with.
Oh, eggs. Dude, it was
You're ready to conquer the day at that.
I could conquer whatever.
Yeah,
I was just like,
you're really not going to be hungry. You drink 2 or 3 of them, have that
4,
nice breakfast. 4,
5.
I mean, if they're going
6.
down smooth, you're going to hit a 12-pack before you know it.
And they were the big beers, so
and that's like my deal.
Big orange juices.
I don't know. We were talking about Norteño music and the beer mosas and stuff. I love micheladas. I don't know if
is that the one with the clam?
The clamato.
It's got clam juice in it.
It's
clam
clamato
milk.
Tomato juice that's got clam juice.
Milk.
It's juice. It sounds dirty if it's milk.
Clam milk?
Yeah, that sounds terrible. That sounds like
how would you milk a clam? You can milk anything, Greg.
And where's its tits?
I got tits. Can you milk me?
I mean, if we squeeze hard enough, we might get something out.
Something, probably blood.
I mean, but technically, we would have milked you.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't milk anything.
See what I'm saying? So
clam milk.
Micheladas.
It's clam milk, clam juice,
tomato juice.
You're right. Clam milk. Clam juice doesn't sound good either, but clam milk sounds way worse.
Yeah, clam milk sounds.
I think it would be a milky yellow color,
and almost like rotten.
Yeah, it can't be good.
If it goes to milk,
if there was clam milk, no one would drink that.
No one would touch it because
it's clam milk.
It's clam milk.
Yeah, I'm out on clam milk.
And
I think we're going to go ahead and check clam milk off the menu.
I mean, you can buy the clam juice in the store. And
I've seen that.
And it does.
Do they juice the clam?
I think it's when they open them. They just pour
it's like that little liquor.
That little liquor.
They call it like what's in.
Kind of like on an oyster.
That's my favorite part.
So
you got a guy in there shucking a clam that's big as a quarter, and he's pouring that. That's his job.
I'm pretty sure it's like
that's his
mass
job.
produced.
He's a clam. What'd you call it? Not a milker. Clam juicer.
He's a clam juicer.
So what do you do, sir? I'm a clam juicer.
I mean, it depends on what atmosphere you talk about. That might be a good thing or a bad thing.
It could be.
Could be.
Depends on. It is 100% on your.
You don't wash your hands. It also
I gotta give our sponsor a plug. Back Down South Clothing. Have you checked out those guys?
I've checked out their website. That's
legit clothing.
Legit clothing. I'm a
fishing shirts, hunting shirts, t-shirts, hats. I mean, you name it. Those guys over in Lindale, Texas have it. It's so awesome. They're super fast on all their delivery, shipping. Those shirts feel like every time I put on a Back Down South shirt, I feel almost like a superhero. Like I don't know if it's the fact that they feel like panties because they're so lightweight and comfortable and breathable, or if it's just the emblem.
So how do you know what panties feel like?
We're going to get into another story.
Oh.
Maybe at another later date.
Okay. But I'm a hat freak, so I he's
got great hats down there.
Yeah, he's got excellent hats.
They're they just got a new location down there in Lindale. If anybody's going down through there, it's kind of hard. I don't know the exact address, but I know that it's right downtown. Anybody Googled it, you'd see it. But they got a new location. It's like a little mini Cabela's looking feel to it.
Awesome.
Oh, it is awesome.
Yeah.
They worked really hard building that place out. Really great people. Really great customer service all across the board. Great gear. So make sure to check them out. I'm sure Nick will put it up on the screen. Back Down South Clothing. Check those guys out. So cool. Well, man, it's fun. Always fun having you in here. We always have this set up, and I always like to, hey, grab Brian, bring him in here. It's always fun because I can always talk to you, and just all kinds of weird oddball stories come out when I talk to you.
And we do hit the stranger side of what we like to do.
I thought you meant hit a person.
I'm sure there's probably been times in our lives.
No, we just randomly hit a stranger. So you can't.
If we ever do one on the road and you hear that, don't ask questions.
That was a stranger?
That was a stranger.
There's a few definitions of a stranger, and I'm not going to get into all of them.
Yeah, we can. That's for a different episode.
The episode that we include all this content on is probably not going to. We'll probably get kicked out.
Yeah, and we're trying to build a thing right now.
Yeah,
so we're not going for that route right now.
So
maybe the outtakes reel.
Yeah, Nick probably has lots of that.
I'm sure.
Anyway, another episode out of the blind. My name's Gabe Spencer. It's Brian Schwint. We'll be back. So check us out on the next one. See you guys next time. That's it.
Bye, guys.
We out. Oh yeah. I could hear